It fit with her personality, like Willowdean's personality, that the film was just very real, like it was kind of down to earth. I didn't know what was going to happen. Like there were so many twists and turns. I didn't even try to. I mean, I went with the flow, but you just can't predict like what is going to happen in this story.
It's a easy movie to watch, but it also opens options for people to understand the world that maybe many of us don't. And it's just a fun, chill watch.
Hey everyone, our guest today on Flixwatcher, we have two Ninas. We have Ninna Makrinov.
Hi everyone.
Nina Robinson.
Great to be here.
And not another Nina, we have Kobe.
Not another Nina. Hi guys.
And we're going to be talking about Dumplin.
Thank you as always to the mighty people for their mighty, mighty tunes, and thank you to Ben from Rockwood Audio for editing this podcast. Please do remember to head over to Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star rating also at Pocket Casts, and join the conversation with us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod and all the other social media platforms at FlixWatcher. So that's Blue Sky, which Ninna Makrinov has just discovered, and Threads, and Instagram, and kind of TikTok.
Hello film fans, welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher podcast. Our guests today are Ninna Makrinov and Nina Robinson. Over to you please, Nina Robinson, to say hello to our listeners and tell them a little bit more about who you are and what you do, please.
Hi, I'm Ninna Robinson, and I have a background as a journalist and documentary maker, international news and current affairs, and I also have a media production company which is called Soundtruism.
And you organised the podcast festival, Unipod Fest in Birmingham, UK.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I am based in Birmingham in the West Midlands, and I organise a podcast festival. And this year was the third one, and it was the biggest and best yet because we had Kobe there who made it.
I made it across to Birmingham.
Woo!
Yes, and also because we were sponsored by BBC Sounds and Amazon Music, which helped.
Beautiful.
And hopefully more to come.
You travel the world and you come back to Birmingham. That's fascinating, isn't it? How you've got a Brummie accent.
Kobe, you
Careful
don't know
now.
how many times
Careful
I
now.
have said that.
I'm not, because I've done the same. I've travelled around and I'm back in Manchester, because it's interesting how much like your home kind of centres you in a way, doesn't, or where you class as where you grew up.
When I left the West Midlands when I was 18, I vowed to myself I would never come back here. Here I am.
Ninna Makrinov, who are you?
So my name's Nina, obviously. I'm a psychologist, I'm fat, and I currently have a podcast called The Fat Psychologist. I am also an assistant professor at the University of Warwick, so that's kind of my other persona. I feel that when I'm the fat psychologist, it's like Spider-Man with the mask. It's my favorite persona at the moment. So we're talking about living overseas. I'm originally from Chile. I've lived in the UK for around 16 years in 2 stints. So I came to the UK, lived here for around 6 years, and then I lived in Mexico for 8 years, and I came back because I actually love it here, which is bizarre. I really like Birmingham. I live in Birmingham as well, and Nina and I met because we were next door neighbours.
Nina and Nina, the neighbours.
I know. So I invite you to listen to my podcast. It's hopefully wherever you listen. And what I do there is that I talk about well-being from the perspective of fat people like me. I interview guests from different backgrounds and different perspectives. Nina was on my first episode ever.
I was on her first episode and I was like, why have you got me on this podcast? I'm not fat.
And I said, because you're an ally and we need allies as well. So it's really important to have you there. It's not only talking about fat, it's about talking about everyone's experience and the evidence base to decision-making on our health and our mental health. So that kind of the background of that. Yeah, it's brilliant to be here. Thanks for having me.
No worries. So we're here talking about Dumplin, which is your choice, Ninna Makrinov. Can you tell us first of all why you chose it, and then I'll get the timer out and you'll have 60 seconds or less to give us the synopsis.
Or less. Okay, so I chose it because I watched it a few years ago I quite enjoyed it actually, but I didn't remember much about it. And also because I thought, based on the Fat Psychologist, it kind of is relevant. So I suppose I'll talk about that when I talk about the film.
Perfect. Okay. The timer starts now.
Great. So Dumplin is a coming-of-age story based on Danielle Macdonald's the actor. So on Willowdean, who's a teenager who's fat, and whose mom, who's played by Jennifer Aniston, is a beauty queen who runs the beauty pageant in their town. Willowdean decides to join the pageant as a way of challenging her mom. It all unfolds from there. And we see her growing up as a person and getting to know herself.
Yeah.
That's it. It's really simple.
Helen, had you seen this before or heard of this before?
Yeah, so I had seen this before. I remember when it came out, there was kind of a big thing around it with it being Jennifer Aniston. I think she produced it as well. And I didn't see it at the cinema, but I think I saw it when it came onto Netflix. But similar to you, I can't remember when I watched it, but I remembered thinking that it was super sweet, and I really enjoyed the kind of camaraderie between Hannah, Millie and Willowdean and her other friend. And yeah, I thought there was a few things that I've kind of found really interesting about it in kind of like my viewing experience, that a lot of time in Hollywood, particularly because Hollywood is extremely fat phobic, fat characters are always miserable. They always have really hard lives. And it was really nice to see, particularly I think in Millie's character, a fat character who is enjoying life and happy in her life. And I really like the journey that Willowdean goes on. And I think that the drag name for Harold Perrineau's name, Rhea Ranged, is really funny. And it's got loads of Dolly Parton in it as well. So like, it's a really joyful, sweet film.
Harold Perrineau is someone who apart from Lost, where it just gets a bit like, come on, mate. Not to him personally, just the whole story of Lost. Every time he's in a TV show or film, he's like, I love him. But yeah, like, he was in Oz, Romeo and Juliet, of course. Wow. And when he turned up in this, I was like, is that Harold Perrineau? I've not seen him for like ages, but it's a kind of great character for him to play.
I mean, I really liked a lot of the characters, but I must say that my favorite was Lucy. Although she's kind of quite secondary to the film, but she's very important to Willowdean, and her joy of life and her beauty, again, in embracing who she is and this kind of hidden self.
Is it Auntie Lucy?
Yeah, Auntie Lucy, and her hidden self, when it comes across that she's friends with the drag queens of the little town. It's like brilliant.
Ninna Robinson, what were your thoughts? Had you seen this before?
No, I hadn't seen it before. We watched it together. Nina came over, we had dinner, and then we had barbecue, didn't we?
Yeah, we were planning to watch both, but we couldn't cope with 2 movies in a row.
Yeah. What was the other film that we watched that was about the size of the woman?
We saw Your Fat Friend. I don't know if you've heard of that one at all.
You were crying at that one, weren't you?
Okay, but that one's really... So, have you come across that one at all?
I've heard the name, I've never watched it though.
So, it's an independent movie. It's not on Netflix, but it's a documentary of a real woman. So, I should know her name. Who is a podcaster as well, and she actually does a podcast called Maintenance Phase, which has become really, really famous, and it was filmed over 8 years, and we see her in, hopefully, I would love to see it in the big screen. I'd love to organize a screening, actually, and it's fun because I think what you've said, Helen, about how the portrayal of fat people on TV and Hollywood in particular tends to be really negative, and also a lot of times it's not even fat people who are portrayed in the movies. We see a lot of the use of fat suits, which is a big, massive no-no for the fat community. Oh, Nina, you're looking surprised. I'm seeing her because we are recording.
I didn't know they use fat suits.
Oh, yeah, in loads of movies. Like, for example, The Whale, which I haven't watched. I haven't wanted to watch. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Fat suiting is very common, and it has an implication in terms of representation and in terms of how fat people are seen on TV, and the fact that you can just take the fat suit off, and apparently, yeah, there's loads of them where I haven't watched them because, but yeah.
This is a thing in film and TV generally where there's casting against race, casting against, now more than ever, people tend to have Jewish actors portraying Jewish people. I mean, the film that recently came out with Jesse Eisenberg and...
A Real Pain.
Yeah, A Real Pain, Kieran Culkin. there was a small talk about, well, Kieran Culkin's not Jewish. Why is he playing this role? But then Jesse was like, he's the only one that can play this role. And when you see the film, you're like, well, yeah, I can see why he's got this role. And also recently now gay characters tend to be more than often portrayed by LGBT people as well, because just to level up the playing field in terms of roles available to them. Whereas like 10, 15, 20 X years ago, it was almost like a badge of honor to play as a cis het person, to play a queer person. And that would be your, hey, I might get an Oscar for this. So
I mean, loads of people have gotten the Oscars, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, well, you said the whale,
Fraser did, yeah.
Fraser, yeah.
So you don't agree with the whale then?
I haven't seen The Whale, so I can't tell you about the movie, but I don't agree.
It seems like it's a kind of a negative thing, because wasn't he a shut-in or...
Yeah, I have seen it. It's an interesting film. It's based on a play, and it feels very like a play. It's a tricky one. I don't think it's a positive representation. It's kind of weird. It's a very pitying. I think it's kind of like falling into kind of like the pitying thing as well. And I think with also like disability and fatness or just representation is really, really bad historically.
That's why like Coda got like a big round of applause, wasn't it, for, hey, using people who are deaf in this film.
And with fatness and kind of Brendan Fraser playing that role. And I actually quite like him generally, so I have avoided this film because I thought it'd be angry. But it's also, there's very, very little roles that fat people can play. And
the point for them not to be fat. There's many roles that fat people can play, but then it always is like...
Where fat should instead. It's like, really, people... So...
No. What I mean is like...
Fatness is central to the story. Like...
Yeah.
What normally happens, which I have to say I might have had a slight expectation, that the fat character goes through a journey and then becomes thin at the end.
Actually, yeah. Oh, Nina, I'm going to put you on the spot. When we were watching the movie and Willowdean is kissed, you went like, oh, that's a surprise. And I'm like, why is it a surprise? I
never said that.
You did? Yes, you did.
I never
yes, you
said
did.
that.
Absolutely did. And then I'm like, okay, there's this boy taking her out to watch the stars. What do you expect? But
it's because you've been indoctrinated by Hollywood to think that fat people aren't worthy of love. That's why.
But we all have, haven't we? I mean, I was indoctrinated that I wasn't worthy of love. So, yeah. I mean, like, I probably was surprised the first time I watched it even, because a nice guy wouldn't take me out and kiss me, would it? Like, genuinely, that wouldn't happen. It's not true, but it's what we're told. I
was quite surprised at the kiss because it kind of seemingly came out of nowhere, out of left field. I thought they were having a good time. I was like, oh, this is going to end in a kiss, but then suddenly like lurch at it. And I was like, what? Hey, was there any... Because normally in films, there's like a bit of a build-up and it happens. Maybe that's the way it needed to happen for this, because she wasn't expecting it to happen. So maybe for this to be more true to herself and to her story, that's the way it needs to happen. But I guess in this age of like more consent, that seemed like, hold on, did she know this was going to happen?
Did she actually agree to it happening?
Yeah, that's what was going on in my head. It was like, is that right? Exactly.
I kind of got the impression that their relationship was a lot closer, having been built up over time. That was the way I kind of got it.
Well, she was still questioning her. She was still speaking to a friend saying, like, why does he like me? What's going on here? I don't get it.
I don't think she ever believed he liked her. And I can resonate with that because growing up, that's exactly what I would have thought. I would have been like, I mean, I had all those guy friends, loads of them. And I wasn't very fat when I was younger, but I was still fat according to everyone else. I never thought any of them fancied me. But actually looking back, and I'm like, it's quite obvious that they probably did. But I never thought that was the case because I was unlovable. I don't think that way anymore, but yeah.
But it is like, that is the main thing that I took from this film, is that you are what you think you are. And that is what people find attractive. So if, you give this kind of impression, your energy, everything about you, your persona is that you are an attractive woman. That is what people see. You don't have to, it doesn't matter like what your body looks like.
I don't think that's the case. Again, I think that's the case for some people.
Because I was saying to one of the mums at my daughter's school, Candice Braithwaite on Instagram, she started on Instagram when she was like really racking up views. She does gets changed in front of the the camera. And she was always a plus size woman, and she would like put on her clothes, and she would like, honestly, her Instagram totally took off. But now, like, she's being invited to all these premieres, fashion shows, gets loads of free stuff, whatever. She's made it now, and she's lost loads of weight, and she's had this whole process of going on the Peloton, and you see all of that. And now she's really quite thin and petite, right? And I was like saying, actually, you know what? I mean, yeah, good for her, you know, she's done it, whatever, but her Instagram and everything about her was way better when she was plus size, because she owned those fashion to her outfits, you know, and she just looked incredible.
I don't know, maybe you just don't have the same views as many other people, because like you've said the same to me. It's like, oh, you know, I never noticed you're fat. I mean, I suppose you have, but whatever. But you're my friend, so I assume there's less discrimination in your head about fat people. But like, the world's not nice for fat people at all. And I think this movie shows that there is, I mean, spoiler alert, but
You're allowed spoilers.
Willowdean is told directly that, like, oh, you're fat, move away, or things like that. Or like, I've been called a whale, hence the name of the whale is quite a horrible name for the movie anyway. But people are really nasty to fat people. And we are seen as, you can be nasty to us because obviously it's our fault. And I suppose there again, Willowdean, and I think the movie does that again. There's a lot of eating disorders among fat people that are unseen because you're fat. So how could you have eating disorders? But like the kind of food she's eating, it's very possible that a fat woman might be eating salad all the time. Her really boring kind of food options given by her mom, who was trying to be helpful, but was being horrible.
One kind of challenge I have with this film is it almost seems to end up in such a neat little bow at the end, like where her mum's like, oh, I didn't realise my sister was going through this. My sister was amazing. But all the way through the film, she didn't really portray it. She didn't really like...
Yeah.
It seemed like an about face where I was like, well, hold on a second, what's going on?
But actually, if you think of the movie and the book, they're written for teens. So they're, particularly the book, which I haven't read because I haven't had access to it. I should have ordered it on Amazon. I didn't think of that. But I was looking for the audiobook because I'm too lazy reading lately. But the book's very much not even that balanced with, and the issue with the mom apparently are there. So it's a kind of very sweet, yeah, we're fine, and being fat is okay, and I'm really happy with that. The movie, I think, takes it a bit further, and I actually really like how Jennifer Aniston portrayed her character, because I don't really like her normally as an actor, but I actually really liked her in his movie.
Jennifer Aniston was great.
And I think it brings some of these things, but it is aimed at a 16-year-old audience, so it kind of needed to have a nice, positive outcome, I think.
Yeah. I think I was pleasantly surprised, but also I felt that I wanted her to get somewhat of a comeuppance. But at the end, it was just like, you're beautiful. I was like, well, hey, why didn't you say that before this thing happened? I guess that was my main...
Yeah, I love the Jennifer Aniston. I thought she was so lovely, and you could just tell that she loved her daughter very much. But I wondered if Dumplin was not her only child, how she would be then. Like, say, if she had more children, and like, say, Dumplin was like the number 3 child, I think that she would have been a different kind of mom.
It made me wonder as well, and it has to do with my own prejudice in terms of the beauty pageants, because, okay, this all happens in a beauty pageant, which I've always thought is one of the most stupid things in the world. I shouldn't say this, but I kind of changed my mind a bit watching Miss Congeniality, because I really enjoyed that movie. I mean, I've watched it again, and no, it does not hold.
Oh, pageant, sorry.
And then watching this one, I'm like, actually, there's some kind of nice things from it. Like, the girls did get a chance to grow, and, you know, which then I started wondering in the characters, was it that her initial reactions were not necessarily about the weight, but about the fact that Willowdean was so much against this pageant culture, which was so important to her mom, Rosie. Then as she starts valuing her mom's life work, then mom finds it easier to go, I really love you. You know, I'm really proud of you because you're in this world that is my world. I don't know. At least that's the kind of I would like the people I love to think that way, rather than it's because you're fat.
I think there's a piece where I look at beauty pageants and this kind of stuff as like absolute utter nonsense. But then to people who is their world, that's their world, right? People do things which I think are slightly odd, like cricket.
Hey.
But hey, look, I'm just saying, this is
Whatever you're into.
Yeah, whatever you're into. It's like, you play cricket, it's kind of fine, but also it takes the whole day. I'd rather do other things with that time.
Takes 5 days sometimes.
Exactly. So, but what I mean is, I'm not berating cricket specifically, but I'm like...
No, but I think pageantry, actually, you do develop some life skills. So, for example, they have
according to this film, you do.
They have to talk on stage. They have to talk to an audience. They have to feel comfortable about talking to themselves. Walking in a swimsuit is really the self-confidence that you need to do that.
But how much of it still is about your looks, though? What's perceived to be?
I mean, it is about the looks. And at least that's one thing that the movie... Although they did give special prizes to different women, and I did like that the first prize went to the obvious girl who was the traditional good looks, the traditional everything. Because otherwise it would have been even more fake.
Yeah, I like that about it. Yeah. It was like, there's no kind of like, oh, they're going to give it to Willowdean and it's going to completely break barriers and everything. It's like... Of course they're not. Of course it's going to go that, because that's what that culture is.
It fit with her personality, like Willowdean's personality, that the film was just very real. Like, it was kind of down to earth. I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, there were so many twists and turns. I didn't even try to. I mean, I went with the flow, but you just can't predict what is going to happen in this story.
Now you're reminding me of it. One thing I didn't quite like was how she was disqualified-ish.
Yeah.
From it, so therefore that's, I don't know, potentially the reason she definitely wouldn't have a prize.
But she was completely disqualified.
She was ish, but she came back on stage, and that's when her mum said she was beautiful. So she could have a kind of like the final flourish. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of would have preferred it if she was on the stage, still in contention, but she didn't win. But she was like, hey, you did a great job. But this is perhaps where the Millie character coming second, because Millie was all the way through, she was like genuine, she was effervescent, she wanted this, and you could kind of go like, okay, between Millie and Hannah and Willowdean, Millie's the one that should place there, because she's like, this is something she's really wanted for her whole life, and she put effort in.
Well, also her singing was incredible.
Yeah.
It set up the line at the end as well, when she got together with the guy and he said, so did you win then? And she says, no, I was disqualified. And then he said, that's my girl.
Yeah.
Well, he's been a girl for maybe 5 seconds.
Absolutely.
I suppose they've worked with each other and they know that, yeah.
But so the other thing that to me was really enjoyable, you're mentioning the Millie character, but I really like the Millie character, and also Millie's mom character I really loved. And that links to, I think, my favorite part of the movie is not the pageant, it's not none of the things we talked about, but it's the moment they go to the bar and they discover the show. And then they're like, wait, are these men dancing?
Millie's so innocent.
Yeah, absolutely. And how then these drag queens who are all so different help them find the beauty in whoever they are and build their shows. And I really like that part of how people in the outside also support each other, and in this movie that happens too.
I love this part of that section. Jolene, 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 Jolene. But Beyonce's version is better, obviously.
Anything else, guys, want to say before we head to the scores?
I just want to say that my favourite thing about this film was how it showed the complexity of female friendship.
Yeah.
Which men don't have relationships like that, I'm sorry.
How do you know?
You've never been a man.
I know, Kobe.
How dare you?
I know. Male friendships are all about practical necessity.
Is that the case?
I think the foundation is generally male friendships founded on nonsense. And that's... I've heard this story many a time from when I go away with my friends for the weekend from university. My wife says, how is everyone? I'm like, yeah, good. So what do you talk about? I have no idea. For the 48 hours, I have no idea. It was just, we just had a laugh. And
that's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. It's like, come on. You've
so
no idea
the
the depth of female friendship you know. And I think it was good because when the best friends and she had the boyfriend, and the boyfriend was just left like standing, like when she was running after her, and he was like, "What's going on?" You know, like.
Yeah, so we've had Danielle Macdonald in Bird Box before.
Oh yeah,
she's one of the characters in Bird Box, which is also on Netflix, and she played a rapper film.
Oh, in Patty Cakes,
which I thought was great. She's Australian, guys.
She is, yeah. She's lost a lot of weight as well, which is always an issue with the fat community. But
is it?
Yeah, because representation. But she looks great, whatever her weight. I love her.
So one thing you were saying before about fat, or any word that can be used as a slur against people, is like, I'm black, people are fat, they're gay. As long as that's just like the descriptive words that you're using, then that's not the issue. It's when people use that as the kind of like way to put them down at the same time.
And I mean, I think with me, I choose the word fat, as many other fat people do, because fat's just a description, isn't it?
Exactly,
like, black's just a description. It's the fact that when we say, like a lot of times I say, oh, I'm the fat psychologist, or I'm fat, and people are like, oh, don't say that to yourself. And I'm like, I'm not saying anything wrong, I'm just describing myself. And then it's the assumptions that come with the word fat, and that's why I think it's important to challenge. And I think this movie challenges that, and I love that.
Because if I'm stood next to my friends from school, there's like four of us who are same size, same height. And if someone said, oh, Kobe's the black one, I'd be like, yeah, that's me. James is the blonde one. Okay, yeah, that's fair. You know, that's that's just the main description that would say that would.
But isn't it better to try and find some other characteristic?
Well, I don't think as long as it's the description bit, I feel that it's not used in a way to put someone down.
And then in Indian culture, we would say, oh, she's healthy. She's not fat, she's healthy.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there's been a lot of conversation because we had kind of like body positivity, which turned out wasn't actually that positive to actual fat people or fat people of colour either. And it kind of became erasure of that. So there's a lot of like really great podcasts and a lot of great people online who are trying to like reclaim fatness and kind of bring it back and away from body positivity, which didn't actually end up being that particularly positive in a way.
It's just that, it's because, again, fast body positivity, which can be really positive in certain ways, but it's about, oh, look at me, I'm fat and I'm pretty, but then what happens if I'm not? And then it kind of forgets the other aspects. So I'm not one to talk about race because it's not my experience. However, I've just very recently listened to, because I listen to audiobooks, and it's also in a lot of the podcasts, there's this really good book on hating the fat body, the racist origins of hate of fatness, and how that's all related as well. So I think it's really important that we understand that in more depth, and that's the issue with body positivity versus fat activism, which is a completely different approach.
Should we head to scores?
I'm Sam Clements, host of the 90 Minutes or Less Film Festival, another podcast in the Stripped Media family, a podcast that celebrates movies under 90 minutes long. Each episode, I'm joined by a special guest who selects a movie to join our prestigious lineup. Past guests have included fellow Stripped Media family members Martin and Sam from Song by Song, and Kobe from Flixwatcher, and Dave from The Wire Stripped. Search for us now on the app you're currently listening to this podcast, or join us at 90minfilmfest.com.
So welcome to the Flixwatcher scores. They're always out of 5. You can have decimal places if you wish. And we'll start with you, please, Nina M, with your recommendability.
I would say a 4.5. I think it's worth a watch. I mean, it's a easy movie to watch, but it also opens options for people to understand the world that maybe many of us don't. And it's just a fun, chill watch.
So 4.5, Nina Robinson.
4 from me. I would recommend it.
4.5, Helen.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 as well. I think it's a super sweet story, a really kind of great supporting cast in there. And I think there's something to be said for having fat characters represented on screen. And it kind of felt that this was maybe like a new dawn or something that was going to kind of
7 years ago.
Yeah, but like it hasn't happened. In fact, if anything, it's gone worse. But
it's really bad because of Instagram and all the narcissistic kind of gym culture.
Ozempic and...
Yeah, I was going to say Ozempic being the thing, isn't it?
Ozempic's not a good thing.
No.
I mean, it has some good things for some people, but yeah.
Yeah, it's super sweet, if maybe not exactly like revelatory, but it's a nice little story with Dolly Parton in the soundtrack.
We like Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I'll give it 4.3. No, a bit less than that. 4.1.
Very specific.
It's fine. It's good. It's a good film. I quite like these. We've had a couple of films which are Netflix films, which are not assuming to be anything big. Like To All the Boys We Loved Before is like one of our highest rated films, and it's
really?
such an assuming film. Yeah, because of the way we score things. It's like it works great on a small screen. Yeah, sure, it can tell everyone. I might watch it again. Sure, why not? And it's like it's got the level of engagement which kind of sticks you in.
That's one to watch. I listened to the audiobook for that one, but I haven't seen the movie.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll check out the movie and then come back and check out our scores for it. But this one's a bit interesting because it has got Jennifer Aniston. It's got Harold Perrineau. It's got Danielle Macdonald, who seemed to be on Ascendance, definitely when this was coming out. I've not seen... I saw her in Poker Face, I think it was, on TV not so long ago, but I've not seen anything of her since. So I was hoping that, her star was on your Ascendance. So it seemed like a bit of a bigger Netflix prospect, but not being like the stupidly massive, like The Grey Man, which is ultimately nonsense. And I quite like this level. I quite like this level where there's a few people making it happen, but also it doesn't need to be big and bombastic and like trying to compete with the cinema. I think is probably what I'm trying to say. Repeat viewing score, Ninna Makrinov.
I'm going to be super biased. I'm going to give it a 5 because I actually watched it for the second time for these. And I enjoyed it more than the first time, but it might just be because it was so sweet. And I think I could just put it on the background and just do other things and watch it again. Just because the music was fun, the story was quite okay. And it's like, I don't need to think much and just have a good time, chill.
Ninna Robinson.
I'll give it a 2.7 because, I mean, probably I won't watch it again, but if it was on, then it wouldn't like annoy me to watch it again. It's like perfectly lovely, sweet film.
Helen.
Yeah, so I probably could have got away with not having watched it again.
When was the last time you watched it?
I don't know. I'd have to consult Letterboxd to find out the precise time, but...
Yeah, but is it months, years?
Maybe a couple of years, I think.
All right, so you're that kind of like, do I need to watch it?
Yeah, but I was like, oh, you know what? I quite enjoyed it, and it's only an hour 50, so I watched it again. Whether I'm going to watch it again, not entirely sure, probably not, but I'll give it a 3 for repeat.
Fair enough. I don't think I'll watch this again, so I'll give it 1.5. Yeah. It's fine, but also there's other things I'd probably rather watch. What did you say, 3, Helen?
Yeah.
Small screen score, Ninna Makrinov.
So it works for the small screen. I wondered if it was even filmed for the small screen. I think it's okay, like 4. I don't know if I would want to watch it in a bigger screen, but my screens are quite big, so.
Ninna Robinson.
I would also give it a 4. It's fine on the small screen.
Helen.
I watched it in 2021. That's when I saw it before. I'm going to give it a 5. I think it works perfectly on the small screen. I probably wouldn't have gone to see this at the cinema just because it's kind of like a coming of age teen thing. So yeah, happy to watch it on TV.
Yeah, I was quite surprised when it first started. I assumed it was like they're in college or something like that. But then it's turned out to be like a high school story. It's like, hold on, they all look older than...
And they also drive because it's America.
Bo, for example.
Not
Bo
really. I didn't think so.
I thought Bo was like in his 30s. No, he didn't. He didn't look 17 or whatever, though. Yeah, I'm going 5, small screen. Engagement score, Ninna Makrinov.
I'm going to give it like 4 because we did stop it in the middle and we came back to it. But yeah, it's not like as gripping as any other story can be.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
So what are you going to give it, Robinson?
I'll give it 4 as well. No, I'll give it 3.
Not joint. Helen.
I mean, you don't have to be massively engaged, but it held my attention for the 1 hour 50, so I'm going to give it a 4.
I'm going to 3.5. I think I knew exactly where it was going to go. And I guess that's what I mean by I was hoping for a bit more tension. And it kind of never really had that. Apart from the start, where she was abused in the streets. Everyone was like, yeah, you're fine. I don't know what's the matter with you. And then, no, the middle. The first time she's on stage, most people are going to be poor. Then there's going to be a training montage or a change, which happened in the drag club, which I thought was hilarious and brilliant. And then you knew at the final bit she wasn't going to win, but also she's going to be way better than she was when she first came on stage. And those things happened. And I was like, yeah, I know this is exactly what I expected. When you look at pageants in film, I can't not think about Little Miss Sunshine and just how, like, that is not how I expected that to end out in any way, shape or form. I don't know if the two Ninas have seen it.
I haven't, no.
That is
It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah, the way they do the pageant scenes and that is like chef's kiss. And yeah, so that's the standard. Miss Congeniality, I haven't seen it for a long time, actually.
Oh,
I'd have to.
Some of
Sandra
them
Bullock.
does not hold to the present. Like, there's one scene that, but it's still fun, I think.
Yeah. Well, she's the Taming of the Shrew character, isn't it? Where, she's a bit dowdy, she wears glasses. I can't remember if she has glasses. And it's like, oh, well, you're the only woman here. You're going to have to be the one that enters. And suddenly, oh, wow, you look like Sandra Bullock. So you might...
Michael Caine is this kind of the Dolly Parton character.
Is Michael Caine in it? I've literally...
He's the dresser.
Oh, okay.
He's the one who teaches
He's the
her to
Harold Perrineau
walk
character.
walk in heels and not eat steak with our hands.
So more than Taming on the Shrew, it's really My Fair Lady, isn't it?
Well, it's all the same thing, isn't it, really?
Fair.
So that gives us an overall score of 3.83125.
Yep, pretty decent.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Ninna Makrinov, let's go with you first, and then we'll go to you, Robinson. Tell everyone we can find yourselves online, include your podcast or your companies or your professorships, and we'll say goodbye to the listeners.
No, I'm here as a podcaster, so I'll just talk about that one. So you can find me as the Fat Psychologist, wherever you're listening podcasts. So have a look, let me know what you think. And also my website and social media handles almost everywhere is the Fat Psychologist, or in my name, but my name's complicated, so that's the best way to find me. Yeah, thanks for having me, and hopefully you listen to my podcast.
Your name's complicated. There's too many N's for the word Ninna.
Makrinov is also like, people hear it and they go, what? Although it's not that hard.
Ninna.
Makrinov.
At least Makrinov is phonetic from an English perspective. Though at least normally people will get the letters right in the right order, won't they?
Ninna is not like people. My spelling of Ninna, my mom was weird. People call me Ninna.
Robinson.
I have so many people that say to me, how do you spell your name? Ninna.
But I do have a friend who's Ninna, N-E-E-N-A. And so you're the first with 3 N's in there.
3 N's.
Yes.
My mum was weird.
So you can find me on Instagram at Soundtruism. I'm on TikTok as well, Soundtruism.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure talking about Dumplin.
Thanks for having us.
coming on.
Bye.
Bye.
Enjoyed this episode of Flixwatcher podcast? Why not leave us a 5-star review on iTunes? You can also follow us at FlixWatcherPod on Twitter, and we're at FlixWatcher on Instagram. Thanks as always to the mighty people for their mighty, mighty tunes, and Rockwood Audio's editing skills. If you're looking to get your podcast edited as sweet as this, get in touch with Rockwood, ROKK Wood Audio. Tell them Flixwatcher sent you.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.